Hello everyone, today we are going to talk about modal verbs. Let's get started. What are modal verbs? Modal verbs modify the meaning of verbs. In other words, there is a difference between saying I'm learning German, I want to learn German, and I must learn German. Here we see that modal verbs such as want and must modify the meaning of learning. And in German we have those verbs too. To say we have to learn German, we'd say wir müssen Deutsch lernen. We're allowed to learn German, lucky us, wir dürfen Deutsch lernen. To say we can learn German, we'd say wir können Deutsch lernen. To say we would like to learn German, we'd say wir möchten Deutsch lernen. To say we are supposed to learn German, we would say wir sollen Deutsch lernen. And now, the only version that is actually true for us, we want to learn German. Wir wollen Deutsch lernen. These are the modal verbs we have in both English and German. But there are two aspects that are a bit special about German modal verbs: their conjugation and also their sentence structure. Let's start with the conjugation. For the modal verbs müssen, dürfen, können, and wollen, we have a vowel shift, similar to strong verbs, but not exactly the same. Let me show you. To say, I want to stay at home, well, we all have those days. We'd say, ich will zu Hause bleiben. You want to see more Wasdas videos? Du willst mehr Wasdas Videos sehen. Or, he wants to watch football, will Fußball schauen. She wants to go for a walk, sie will spazieren. It doesn't want to work today, es will heute nicht funktionieren. We want to go to the movies, wir wollen ins Kino gehen. Do you want to subscribe to this channel? Wollt ihr diesen Kanal abonnieren? Absolutely random question. They want to watch TV, sie wollen Fernsehen. Here we see the vowel shift I pointed out earlier. For all singular pronouns, it's the I we need. Ich will, du willst, sie es will. This changes for the plural. Here it's O. Wir wollen, ihr wollt, and sie wollen. But you might also have noted that the conjugation of modal verbs differs from ordinary verbs. Let's take the verb reden to talk. Ich rede, du redest, sie es redet, wir reden, ihr redet, and sie reden. Comparing these forms, we realize that for modal verbs, we do not add the e for ich, and we also do not add the t for rs. The rest fortunately stays the same. But by looking at these examples, we can see another important thing that is true for all modal verbs. In an ordinary sentence, the modal verb is always in second position, and the verb it refers to is in the last position. Very similar to separable verbs. And the other verb, the one in the end, will always stay in its infinitive form. Just look at Fernsehen, abonnieren, or gehen. It's the basic verb form every time. Another thing we can see is how we form questions with modal verbs. Wollt ihr diesen Kanal abonnieren? Here the modal verb and the subject switch each other's positions. But that's how questions are always formed in German. This switch in position between the conjugated verb and the subject, so that shouldn't really surprise us. We can even see another thing here, namely how we negate sentences with modal verbs, saying that we don't want to do something, as in es will heute nicht funktionieren. We negate sentences with modal verbs by adding nicht in front of the normal verb. Therefore, it will always be in second last position. But so far, we have only talked about wollen, to want. What about the other modal verbs? Let me show you. Here's how we conjugate the modal verb müssen, must. Ich muss, du musst, sie es muss, wir müssen, ihr müsst, and sie müssen. We can see the conjugation rules we just addressed apply here as well. And we also have the vowel shift. If you want to take a closer look at the examples, just click on those. Here's how we conjugate dürfen, to be allowed to. Ich darf, du darfst, sie es darf, wir dürfen, ihr dürft, and sie dürfen. And here's how we conjugate können, can. Ich kann, du kannst, sie es kann, wir können, ihr könnt, and sie können. Only two modal verbs left, and these two are a bit different from the previous ones. Exceptions, yay, every German learner's dream. So here's how we conjugate sollen, should. Ich soll, du sollst, sie es soll, wir sollen, ihr sollt, and sie sollen. Sollen is special since we actually do not have a vowel shift, which isn't too bad, is it? Now our last modal verb, möchte, would like to. Ich möchte, du möchtest, er, sie, es möchte, wir möchten, ihr möchtet, and sie möchte. Here we see that möchten is even more special than sollen, because suddenly we need to add the e for ich again, and for some reason er, sie, and es need an e too, which makes no sense at all. So I can only apologize for möchten here, its conjugation really sucks. Sorry. So what have we learned today in a nutshell? We have learned that our modal verbs in German are want, wollen, would like to, möchten, can, können, to be allowed to or may, dürfen, to be supposed to, sollen, and must or have to, müssen. Whenever we use them, there are a couple of things we need to pay attention to. Something we can see in these examples here. In an ordinary sentence, the modal verb will stay in second position, whereas the other verb it refers to will move to the end. For questions, the modal verb and the subject will change each other's place. For negation, we add the beautiful nicht in front of our second verb. And last but not least, we have to pay attention to the way modal verbs are conjugated. Okay, that's it for today. Now you know how to use modal verbs in German. Their conjugation can be a pain in the ass, but their usage isn't too different from English actually. As always, it needs time, patience, and practice to get it right. If you want to start with practicing right now, just click on the link below for a free exercise. As always, no sign up necessary. For even more explanations, exercises, and fun learning games, also for modal verbs, visit our website at www.wasdas.com. In our next video, we'll talk about the perfect tense, so that we can finally talk about the past. Something we Germans tend to avoid at times for obvious reasons. If this video was helpful, don't forget to like and subscribe for more fun German lessons. See you next time. Bye bye.